Welcome to this Sunday's virtual class in Brigham Young University Family History Library at Provo, Utah. Today's class is Reclaim the Records/Internet Archive. Our presenter is Jerroleen Sorensen. We appreciate her preparation and willingness to share her knowledge on this subject. We'll now turn the time over to Sister Sorensen.
This is called Free Books and Stuff on the Internet. And I called it that because I'm going to be talking a lot about different information that you can find about family history in books and other places that are online. Like, for example, the Internet Archives, Reclaim the Records, and so on. So I'm going to start with the Internet Archive because it is one that is really very important. And one that I think that a lot of people are not familiar with. The Internet Archive is fairly new. But it's been some people just decided that they wanted to make sure that everything that ever came out on the internet was available to people as time went on. And so they started doing this thing called crawling. And so they have web crawlers and they go around the public web and just take snaps of every page that they can possibly take snaps of. And so that means that we find them on the Internet Archive with millions and millions of movies, books, texts, videos, concerts, web pages, images. It's just an amazing archive of things that have happened on the internet. It's pretty easy to use. They have several different kinds of searches. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the searches. The general metadata search is just everything. So if you want to just put a title or whoever made it or the description of what you're looking for, subjects and so on, you'll get probably a bunch of hits on those. So it's better in a way to use a more advanced search where you know what you're looking for. And that's at the bottom right corner. You can see that will give you much more specific information for your search. So then it can narrow down, because when you're talking about millions and billions of images, you might want to narrow that down a little bit. The next one is the full text search, and this is allowing you to search inside of books and other texts. So you can actually then search for names and things like that as you're searching for books that are about your family or about the place where your family came from. And then the last one is the book reader text. So when you're actually reading a single book, and you can look within that book and search within the book. So it's an extremely useful tool to be able to find things about your family or other interesting things that you want to know about genealogy or lots of other subjects as well. Not just that. Lots of people use it for movies because all the movies are free. So how can it help me in my family history searches? Currently, as you can see, there are 323,735 text, web pages, audio files, images, movies, and collections under the general search term that I put in genealogy. So that's a lot of things that have to do with genealogy. When I searched my family surname, I found 20 results just on my family's surname. And a search of my family's town of origin brought up 5,132 results. So that's pretty good. And so that's why you need to narrow that down. But you can narrow the searches by searching for genealogy topics, by county or city histories for the place that you're looking for, by state archive materials, records, and other family history information. So you always want to usually narrow the search as much as you can. If you need more help, you can look at my handouts on the BYU Family History Library website, and these are there. You can also take that note right now. These are the articles. If you search under these names, you should be able to find them for help on how to search. They have a really good help center on how to search. Here now, Reclaim the Records is also on the Internet Archive. Reclaim the Records, I'm not going to read that. You can just go to the website and read that yourself. But it's a really amazing program, Reclaim the Records. This woman decided she wanted some records that she'd been wanting for a while. She couldn't get one of the archives in New York to get them for her, to send them to her. She asked and asked, and they would not do it. And so finally she decided she was going to get them by hook or by crook. So she filed a Freedom of Information law request, and they still weren't sending it to her. And so finally she got lawyers and she forced them to give them to her. So after she did that, she went to some other people who were interested in doing the same thing and started this Reclaim the Records. And so what they do is they do freedom of information and open data requests so that they can get public information that's actually legally available to the public, but is very difficult sometimes to get the government entities to release. So if they don't give them the information under their freedom of information request, then they take them to court and they actually sue them. Then once they get the information, which is what the woman who started it did, once they get the information, they digitize it. So she digitized it, gave it to Family Search, the first 3 records that she got. And then after that, she put it on the Internet Archive. So there are 3 records on Family Search, but mostly they're on the Internet Archive. You can find the site at just reclaimtherecords.org, and there's more information about it on YouTube. There's a really good interview with her, Brooke Schreier-Gentz. And you can also, they also have Twitter, Facebook, and a Wikipedia page. So what do they have in the Reclaim the Records? They're record indexes that state records have compiled, and they're vital records. They can legally, they should be available, but sometimes they're very difficult to get hold of. So with these, you can just go to the index and they're there. Now, like, for example, the Missouri Birth Index, which you can see right there, they actually put it online now. So that is a Missouri index web page that the Missouri Index just decided they would just put that online, the Missouri government. So that's excellent. So some of them you are going to click on and it'll come up with a website like that. But these are the only ones that are there. And some of them only have 1 or 2 collections because they're only things that they've had to, as it says, reclaim. So they're not all over the United States, but New York, if you've ever done any New York City, particularly research, it can be pulling teeth to get records out of New York City archives. So New Jersey and New York and New York City are some of the best things that they've done because it's really difficult sometimes. The Maryland and Baltimore ones are new, so that is fairly new. Where can you find these records then? The first place you can find them is at Reclaim the Records. So you go to reclaimtherecords.org. When you get there, you roll over the menu. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to find the records, but you roll over the menu, which is on the right side of the page, to the records request, and you just hover over it and then click on it. And then there's a list of all the states there, and you find the state you want. You click on that state, and then you find the records collection you want within that state. Click on that records collection, it'll take you to the link, okay, to the index. Some of them will take you to the Internet Archive. If it takes you to the website for the index, it will say something like start your free search. Or if it takes you to the Internet Archive, though, you're going to find the years you want and then click on those. So then you just search the index or scroll through the images. If they're documents, mostly they're images of indexes, and you just find the names you're looking for. Sometimes you can search on some of them. They'll actually find the name that you want, and then order a certificate if you want from the actual archive. In that case, you'll have to, of course, write to the archive and get the certificate. And the question is, why do some of them take me there? That's because that's where they are. They're at the Internet Archive. So they sent all these images to the archive to get uploaded. And so you can sort those on the archive. You can sort them by title, you can sort them by date. And you can also view the list, because it'll just come up with a big list of things. You can view them as thumbnails, you can use them as a print list, and you can take details away or add the details. I know I'm not being very specific about all this, but you can find the help, and I think it's just boring and you don't really need it because it's not that hard to do. You just go to there and you'll find it. It's pretty easy to do. So you just type in reclaim the records, as you can see on the right there, and then it comes up with all the records, and you just go to the state and you click on the state you want, go find, narrow it down to the time period and so on. So it's really pretty easy. I'm thinking you can do this without too much trouble. That's why it's not getting really super specific about that. There are also 3 collections in the Family Search Catalog, and that's the New Jersey Geographic Birth Index, which is really awesome. Actually, you should check it out if you have New Jersey ancestors. The New Jersey Birth Index and the Wyoming records. And you can look these up on Family Search in the wiki, in the research wiki, and there'll be articles about those, so they'll tell you how to use them and what they're all about. If you need to use the Internet Archive and you're having trouble with it, go to those places that I showed you on those the previous slides here at these 2, the information about the records and how to use them. Okay. The other thing you'll find is Google Books. So Google Books is really, really, really great because they have 10 million free books. And they're out of print, which is why they're free. But you can also find a lot of books that aren't free and buy them or borrow them from libraries. So it works just like Google web search. You just search for the book on google.com or on Google Books. You can find Google Books by just Googling Google Books. And then you can also just browse the book, see what's there, put in a title, just do a search for the book that you're looking for, or the subject you're looking for. If it comes up with books and they're out of copyright, then of course you can actually see a preview of the book, and in a lot of cases you can read the whole book online. If it's still under copyright, then the publisher sometimes will give permission for you to actually see previews or read it as well. If not, then you can't usually see inside the book. But if it's in the public domain, you can actually download it yourself onto your computer. So that's really cool. And then if it's one of those that you have to buy to look at, you can click on buy the book and it'll let you buy it in certain places from Google Play, or you can go ahead and find it on Amazon, of course. If it says you can borrow the book, then it will give you links to see where you can get a copy of the print book that may be nearby in a library nearby you. If it's an ebook, you can buy the ebooks from the Google Play Store. The neat thing about this site is it creates reference pages for every book. And so on those reference pages, you can find the book reviews for the book. You can find web references to the book, maps of things where the book might be relevant, and a lot of other things. So the reference pages are kind of fun. How do you find it? You just search for HTTPS. Well, you don't even have to put that, of course, with the backslashes, but it's books.google.com or Google Books. If you put Google Books, then Google will find it for you as well. When you search, it will find a search term within a book. It will find titles that relate to the search term. It will find specific titles that you're searching for, and it will save them to your personal library list. So these are just a few things. Murdoch genealogy is one about my family. I'm related to Murdochs. And this is also just a couple of things that I found about genealogy research techniques and Welsh genealogy. I have a lot of Welsh genealogy, and just some fun things that you can find there. If you want help searching Google Books, it also has a really, really good help center. So these are the places that you can go to find partners. So there are all kinds of partners that they have that help them to find these books and to get them. You can find how to use Google Books, how to add, organize, or share books in your own library, how to use the new Google Books. So there's classic Google Books and there's new Google Books. New Google Books is just as easy to use as classic, but some people probably prefer classic because they're used to it. So This is an example of what Google Books will look like. It just comes up with a blank page that says Google Books, and then you just search what you want on it. You can also click on My Library, and it will take you to what books you've already got there. So these are some books that I have on my library. One is Old Greenock. It's a history of a place where one of my ancestors came from. Another one, Edinburgh. I have Scottish ancestors. So that's really a cool thing, because I found a newspaper clipping of one of my ancestors who was hanged by mistake. He wasn't actually a criminal. He didn't do anything wrong, but they hanged him and then found out later that he hadn't done what they said he did. And then there's a West Virginia history there too. And just some classics: Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, The Three Musketeers, and Treasure Island. So there's a lot of different types of books on it. You can get some textbooks on Google Play if you're a student, or if you want to learn something from a textbook. This is just the menu that comes up when you click on My Library. As you can see, I haven't got a lot of stuff on there. I didn't want to clutter that up much for you, so I just took everything out. Okay, so that's Google Books. And you can do an advanced search with Google Books, as you can see down at the bottom, just as well. I would suggest that you learn how to do Boolean searches on all these sites, because that will really narrow down your searches so that you can find what you're looking for better. The next thing we're going to talk about is the DPLA. A lot of people don't know about this either. This is the Digital Public Library of America, and they do a lot of different things. It's not just about genealogy by any means. They use it for educational purposes. They use it for lifelong learning, just to go there and just browse through the topics and see what's interesting to you. Scholarly research, people use it because there's a lot of different material in there on a lot of different subjects, because it's just like a huge library. If you've ever been in the Library of Congress, it's just like overwhelming, all the different books there and all the different things that you can see there. And this is like that, only online. And then the last thing, of course, that's interesting to us is family research. So genealogists use their search tools to find materials for projects and also for just looking up your family history. See that handsome man down in the corner? That's my dad. So on the in the DPLA, you can browse by topic. You can search by partner libraries, because they have a lot of libraries that have contributed digitized books that continue to contribute, by exhibitions, or by primary source sets. And so those are like collections. So if you search by topics, it's organized into different topics. So you can search the topics and then search within the topics. You can search by the partner libraries collections. You can search exhibitions. There are lots of different interesting things there from museums and archives and other libraries that you can explore. There's collections in history, literature, and culture with teaching guides. So if you're a teacher, this is really, really cool. And then you can create lists from your search results or download your finds and manage them. So that is really nice also. So it's a personalized library as well, like Google Books is. I just searched my dad. I just searched Heber City. I found 824 results. That's where my dad was born. There were photographs, there were maps, there were documents, and there were links to the full items in the websites of the libraries where they came from. And then, interestingly enough, I Googled my dad's last name, Hicken, and I found 3 pictures of my dad that I had never seen before. And it was like shocking to me, because I thought I had seen all the pictures, but I hadn't, obviously. And these were taken by the Salt Lake Tribune in 1961. And so then I went to the newspaper articles on the Salt Lake Tribune and I found out that the reason they had taken those pictures was he ran for the town council in 1961, and I did not know that. So that was a new thing to me, which is kind of embarrassing, I guess, in a way. But, I was only a little kid, so I guess I didn't really pay much attention to my dad's political activities, as it were. But that was pretty cool. The last one we're going to talk about is family search books. Family Search has over 500,000 books about genealogy. So the nice thing about Family Search books is it's about genealogy and family history and not much else. There's really not anything in there except for things that will help genealogists to do their genealogy better. So it makes it a little easier. These other ones are, full of a ton of other stuff, but Family Search books is about genealogy. So every year they're adding around 40,000 new books. And Family Search Books also has a lot of contributing libraries. So they have partnerships with other libraries as well. And just personal people, you can upload personal documents. They have to be submitted, and then they will look at them and see if they want them in the library. And then if they do, then they will take them, put them in the library digitally. So that is really an awesome thing that we individuals can put family histories in there ourselves. It's also very helpful for us to find those family histories that other people have uploaded. My dad wrote a book with some other cousins of his. He's the one who mainly put it together, but they found all the Hickens in the United States that were related to my great-great-grandfather, Thomas Hicken, and they put it all in a book with each person's little very short biographical sketch. And that is on the Family Search Library. So it's fantastic for those of us who are related to Thomas Hicken, the patriarch Thomas Hicken. It's a wonderful resource for our family history. So that's the type of thing that you can find there. So it's really easy to use. It's really easy to use. There's also search tips that you can look up there, view the search tips. But you can search by keyword, you can search by surname, you can search by place name. And so it just brings up a bunch of different things. There's a really, really good demo. It's just a little bit different. It was done I think last year, and since then they've changed the platform. So the actual platform looks a little different, but the search information that they have on that, the search information that they have on that is really, really helpful, because it teaches you how to do a Boolean search, which is what I was talking about before. So that's the demo there from Family Search, Find and Contribute Your Family's Books in the Family Search Digital Library. That's a very good video on this. There are a lot of other sources in Family Search of how to use the Family Search books. So those are right there as well. Make sure you come back to the library and get my handout so that you can keep those available for yourselves. The way you find it is you go to the search tab on the main Family Search menu under books, and then you search in the books itself. This will come up, Family Search Digital Library. Search by name, place, or topic. Find search tips by clicking on the tips button under the search box. If you scroll down, there's more information about Family Search books if you scroll down on that page from where the Family Search Library, Digital Library search box is. That's really kind of interesting. You might want to check that out. So if you need help for books, here again are those same articles and the video. And then you'll see on the left there at the bottom of the page, those are the things I was telling you about the digital library, submitting books to the library. If you want to submit books, it'll let you do that. And then this is all the different libraries that contribute books. So it's kind of an interesting thing to kind of scroll through there and see where they come from. So that's the last of that, and I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you learned some things. I hope you don't get overwhelmed. There's so much stuff out there, isn't there? It's billions and millions and trillions. It's like that cats book that I used to read when I was a kid. Hundreds of cats, thousands of cats, millions and billions and trillions of cats. Well, it's the same with books and other articles and other periodicals and other documents, hundreds of documents, thousands of books, millions and billions and trillions of books. And so we've got so much to do. Don't get overwhelmed. Just remember that searches can be narrowed and then things will work out a little bit better for you. So have fun. And I hope you enjoyed the video.